I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully is disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans. Poor little girl, them. And I'm gonna tell them why I'm mad. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. The other state. And of course, as always, I'm upset.
Be held to a high standard, this is not the place for you. If you don't want to win championships, this is not the place for you. If you don't want to work hard, this is not the place for you. This is so fitting that this is where we have the first team meeting.
Hey, let's get it, bro.
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am the Maize Madman. You are Maize Mad Men and women out there. If you read the caption, you know what we're talking about today, or tonight, rather. Obviously, Michigan is going to hold their annual barbecue at the Big House. There's a huge list of visitors this year. We're going to get into a little of that, but I would be remiss if we didn't start like this, actually, and pay some respects to a Michigan native who recently passed away due to a unfortunate situation, and that is Mr. Andre Selden Jr. Obviously was recruited to Michigan, spent his first 2 years in Ann Arbor before transferring to New Mexico, and then to Utah State. So rest in peace to Andre Selden Jr., such a young man. It always is tough to report things like that. Anyway, and I don't want to say anyway like we're just moving on like that's nothing, but moving on, shout out to Moose, RIP Andre. Killer, RIP Andre. I'm so upset. We're going to get to it. How we're going to start this off, shout out to Justin. Tonight is like this. Unless you've been living under a rock, then you've heard that there will be a Netflix documentary, an untold, if you will, on infamous at this point Michigan staffer Connor Stallions. Let me repeat that. Netflix is going to air a special on Connor Stallions. Of course, we all know what happened last season, what came out last season regarding Connor Stallions and his nefarious dealings, allegedly. He came out and made a statement through his lawyer, I believe, basically saying that no Michigan coach, including Jim Harbaugh, sent anyone to do anything or had knowledge of said acts. But now there's going to be a Netflix special, which at the very least raises an eyebrow. And I wish I could do the people's eyebrow right now. I cannot. But anyway, which, like I said, at the very least raises an eyebrow to the situation. I'm sure Netflix came with the bag, and he is currently out of work, at least in the college football arena. So I'm sure that it was hard to turn down. It would be hard for anybody to turn that down. But it's interesting timing. First of all, we're like 40 days away from week one, right? We are less than a month away from fall camp. It's very interesting timing. Team 145 trying to defend Team 144's national championship. Talk to me. Let me know how you guys are feeling about this, the whole Connor Stallions Netflix documentary. And do you think there will be any new revelations? I think that's what I'm most, I won't say worried about, but most would be the most intriguing thing about this Netflix documentary is if some new information arises. We've read all of the reports that have come out so far from the NCAA and things like that. So we kind of have an understanding of what we think happened, right? What the NCAA, at least to this point, has said. But Connor Stallions, the man himself, is going to be a part of this. He's going to be giving his account of said events. What do you guys think about it? My guy Moose said he's watching for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be tuned into this. It's almost like The Last Dance, how I'm gonna be glued to this Netflix doc. The cheating will be fully out there, not like it already wasn't. Shout out to Ryan and the rest of the butthurt Notre Dame fans. I'm sure you guys feel that way. Probably got 1 million for his story. I want to know if his vacuum scandal comes up. That's funny. By the way, I'm gonna make this available for everybody in the chat. If you want to come up live and join me and talk, the link is in the chat. Moose, make sure everybody gets that. I'm sure I just put it in there, but if you want to come up, we can have the conversation. Is it a Connor Stallions documentary or a sign stealing documentary? I think it's a sign stealing documentary. We got our first guest, and guess who it is? Mr. Ryan Fravel. Ryan, what's good? Long time no talk to, by the way. I feel like, we talk like we used to.
It's good seeing you, man. It's good seeing you.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on the documentary? What do you think? Do you think there will be any new revelations? Let's start there.
No, probably not because of legal reasons.
Okay.
But I just, I mean, how much more open are these Michigan people going to be about they cheated and they got away with it so far?
I want to be very clear because you can't just throw things out there like they cheated and got away with it, because I want to be very clear. Sign stealing in itself is not cheating.
The advanced scouting is that's where they got.
So let me ask you something. Before, and I believe this came about the late 90s, right? This new rule, maybe 2000. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Whenever that phones and shit and like technology got created.
Yeah. Okay, right. So before that, advanced scouting was a thing, right? And what I mean by that, and I'm obviously the technology today makes it easier, right? We're not gonna act like that's not the case, right? So it's easier to advance scout in a way that is conducive. Like I can get 4K video and stuff like that, right? So I'm not gonna act like that's a non-thing. However, before this rule was created, by the way, Ryan, this rule was created to help smaller schools, by the way. It wasn't for the Notre Dames or the Michigans of the world, right? Because they could afford to send people to rival games and stuff like that, or teams that they were going to play later on in the schedule, right? Mm-hmm. We understand that. We agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So before this NCAA made this a rule, advanced scouting was taking place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, only to protect, and we got another person, G, we're gonna bring you right up after we make this point. Only because of, to protect smaller schools or try to give them or try not to make them have such a disadvantage was this rule created, right?
Yeah.
It was good, Eric. When does the league officially start, by the way, Kinetic? Let me know. All right, but go ahead.
But my point was just that, like, whether or not you agree with sign stealing happens everywhere,
right?
If there was evidence that Michigan broke rules. Now, to what extent?
Broke rules.
But Connor Stallions was also hired by the staff, so there's like what is it called? You're responsible for people on your staff and their actions at any job. So whether or not you think that the sign stealing benefited or gave Michigan a leg up or not, they broke a rule, and the fact that they got no punishment for that is crazy.
That's not true. That's not true.
I will say also, I had a Michigan fan in the space tell me the other day, made a great point. The whole NCAA investigation was more about getting Harbaugh the hell out of Michigan
Right.
than it was to go after Michigan themselves.
And I agree with that. For multiple reasons, they wanted Harbaugh out of there. Not the least of which this thing that we're hearing now, right, about revenue sharing. He was a champion of that. But you know, that's a whole nother thing. G, welcome to the live, sir. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
We can hear you perfectly, sir.
Oh, okay. So my whole take always been, you dealing with all this money, you dealing with all this stuff. Why would he be working for Michigan and he using his name to buy tickets and he not even there? If they were trying to cheat, why wouldn't they use the people name who was actually sitting in the seats?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that don't even make sense for him to actually just buy tickets in his name.
It's a good point. And to that point, Connor Stallions also, we know, had a manifesto on like how he was going to, you know, take over the Michigan football program. This is obviously someone who had an agenda, to say the least. And I do think that he was operating independently, but I also hear what you're saying, and people like you are saying, Ryan, about the head coaches obviously got to take some responsibility for any and everything regarding the program. Otherwise, Rick Pitino will still be coaching at Louisville and such on. You know
how I look at it is like, if you run a daycare service, right? You got to take care of these people's kids.
Mm-hmm.
If one of those kids goes and injures themselves and you weren't paying attention, even if it wasn't your fault, you weren't the one that hurt the kid, who's that going to fall on, Phil?
Right. No, I get it. And, you know, those parents want answers and they're probably suing you. At the same time, though, this dude is a super rogue agent, right? We know that. It's no question about that, right? Like,
well, he's not, and also Connor Stallions isn't the smartest guy in the room. Like, let's
out my guy Troy.
Right, let's
get that
be
game,
real.
man. Yeah, no, for sure. G, let me ask you this: do you think there will be anything new that we haven't heard yet come up in this documentary?
Absolutely not. I think that, like you said, this is an opportunity for him to make a little bit of money. They threw that bag, so why not tell your story to the world? But if you look at all the details that we privy to and that they said, like, what else can he say? I can understand his analogy. Yeah, you get sued if your employee does something, you know, to a kid, but you at home with your family eating dinner.
Mm-hmm.
How you can't watch your employee the whole time. You know what I mean? So yeah, it shouldn't be nothing else come up. It's just him getting that bag, like you said.
I agree 1000%. And Tim brings up a good point here. Harbaugh was suspended.
No, he was suspended by the Big Ten. That wasn't the NCAA, and the NCAA suspension was for the Burgergate bullshit. So he technically, the Michigan themselves has not received any punishment from the NCAA regarding the whole sign stealing stuff.
Well, first of all, we know the NCAA moves like molasses. It would be a record-breaking decision if they had already made a decision and dished out some punishment, right? Like, it's not like they move, you know, particularly quick regarding these things. And even when and if public punishment is doled out, what are you expecting?
But hey, look at it. Okay, look at it. If they had something concrete, I believe they would have did something before Harbaugh left. I think their gripe against him, they would have did something before he left. Once he left, and they really didn't have, it's no reason to keep digging because there was nothing there. You know what I mean? How far can you dig before you hit the pipe?
Right.
You know what I mean? But
the thing that bothers me is there have been teams that have done less and gotten less violations that end up getting their entire season vacated. But the NCAA,
please point out the team
Notre Dame in 2012. By the way, we also snitched on ourselves, so it wasn't like we were trying to hide stuff either. We snitched. on our own selves, and they still threw the hammer down on us. Tennessee, I mean, to your point though, Phil.
No.
Tennessee
had major violations and
it was recruiting violations.
But it was like a 100 of them. It was a lot.
Yeah, but even they didn't get the hammer thrown on them. They got they lost some scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even get a bowl ban. Like,
if Michigan does get some punishment, maybe they lose some scholarships. Maybe they try to circle back and suspend Jerome Moore a game or two, which I don't even see that happening. That would be super extreme. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the part of the staff that's gone.
Right.
All the new members. I don't see them taking, hurting the team going forward with no loss of scholarships or nothing. If anything, like a light probationary period or something, don't get in trouble no more. Because it's really nothing, and
right.
Everybody know it just became a joke, and it only became a joke because Michigan started winning. If Michigan wouldn't have been winning, we wouldn't even be going through none of this at all.
I agree 1000%. If this was 2019, 2020, Michigan Wolverines, we probably would have never even heard of this thing. Number one, and then we know that like the rival fan base is not necessarily Notre Dame, although Ryan has been one of the people trying to champion some punishment for Michigan, but the other state in particular have an axe to grind, right? They've lost 3 straight years. They're trying to say, oh, we only lost those 3 straight years because Connor Stallions was out here doing what he was doing, which is ridiculous in its own right. The formula that Michigan used to beat the other state all 3 of those years is on tape, and it consists of out toughing them and winning the trenches, basically. And that really is all there is to it.
The only thing that takes me off though about it is this whole like NCAA shit is that they're so inconsistent with who they give the hammer to and who they do. Like, let's be real here. The SEC's been cheating for years. But the NCAA turned a blind eye to it when Alabama was paying players under the table when NIL wasn't a thing, and Auburn, that whole Cam Newton situation when Auburn probably should have got lots of scholarships, wins vacated, and all that bullshit. Like, it's just to me, it's more annoying when some team does this that's not as bad, they get their wins vacated. The other team does something that's worse, they get a couple scholarships taken. Somebody else does something right in the middle and nothing happens. It's just like, I don't know, dude.
Really quickly, I gotta do this real quick. There's 36 people in here. We need 36 likes. Make sure you share this with your friends on social media. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All right, let's advance the conversation a little bit, because obviously this thing is coming August 27th, right? It is about the sign stealing accusations or NCAA alleged violations for Connor Stallions. He was employed from 21 to 23. What obviously what it does do is it coincides with Michigan's turnaround, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't like that. Like that's the reason for the turnaround.
That's not a coincidence, Phil.
No, it is a coincidence. It just happens to be when he was hired. All right.
Here's the thing. Coincidence.
Thank you, G. Like, here's the thing, bro. You know how much would have to go into for that to be effective in the way that everybody's trying to say it's been effective, right? Not only would Michigan have to know the signs, right? Every sign, by the way, instantaneously, then decipher the sign, give that information to a OCDC quarterback, linebacker, whoever, and then they have to give that information to the rest of the team, all on the fly, by the way. Do you understand how impossible that would be for 4 quarters of for to do that successfully like 3-4 times in a game is a win.
Well, if you have a sheet that just has what each signal means for each individual team you play, and you just going down, this person did this signal with their hands, they're running the ball, like that. But I will say, Phil, and this is also, it might be a coincidence. Michigan has lost 3 games the last 3 years, total of 3.
So let me say this. I'm gonna say this because that's kind of funny what you said. Look, it's a time clock. It's a play clock. For them to make the signal, then the coach to get it, relay it all before the quarterback says hut hike. Come on, your defense, your team would be in disarray trying to look over at your coach and get that call. Now I'm gonna say this. You said, "Oh, he made this sign and made it a run." Shit, everybody know we gonna run every play, and they can't stop it. So what?
It's a fact. We ran it 32 straight times against
Penn State. Yeah. So I don't think, like I say, I don't think that would have a big impact. People know each other's signs, but to actually get it to all your players in a timely manner when the coach is calling it. But they said they've been knowing about it for more than a year or so. So how unintelligent would you have to be to keep the same signs and plays for all that time?
Say it then, G. Absolutely.
Well, I will say though, so you lost to Michigan State in 2021, right?
That was the
fun game,
bro.
But hold on. So the only reason you guys lost that game is because you guys couldn't stop Kenneth Walker,
right?
Or so for whatever reason,
right?
Okay. Besides that game, you lost to TCU and Georgia. Now this might be a coincidence, just like the Connor Stallions hiring, but those 2 teams. TCU got calls right before that Michigan game from other teams saying that you guys were stealing people's signs, so they changed their signs for that game.
Georgia, go away because it's alleged that Ryan Day and the other state made that call and gave them information regarding Michigan. But go ahead.
But I'm saying like TCU changed that sign and you happened to lose that game. Georgia in 2020 was it 2021?
2020.
When you guys played Georgia in the CFP?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys didn't have time to scout Georgia because you guys played them.
Ryan, let me tell you something.
So I mean,
this sounds
it could
good.
be a coincidence.
It sounds really good.
So it's
in
not
2021, Georgia
was just better
than everybody.
Yeah, it was. Right. We could have had their playbook and we probably couldn't beat them. If you look at the game, they could have told us to play
before every play, and they would have won. And then in the TCU thing, like that was, I think, overconfidence by Michigan going into that game, and TCU felt disrespected. You put all that together, and we proved that we were a superior team in many parts in that game. The comebacks, we came back from like multiple scores.
You guys were down 28-7 at one point, right?
Three plays decided that game.
Exactly.
When they didn't give Roman Wilson that touchdown, which
was criminal.
Who you a Notre Dame fan, you tell me that wasn't a touchdown. That was a touchdown. And then
I said his butt was down at the 1.
No,
you know that was everybody that watched that game know that was a touchdown. There's no way that wasn't a touchdown.
I can either confirm or deny.
Okay, but I think we got too cute and tried that trick play when we should have just ran it up the middle, and that would have changed the whole game. But the pick sixes was just JJ McCarthy, just kind of overconfident in himself.
Absolutely. 0LB33 says, I know a Leprechaun fan ain't trying to talk about punishment for something. Baylor got away with the weak self-imposed punishment because the NCAA said advanced scouting advantage is minimal at best. And by the way, Ryan, it's minimal at best for all the reasons me and G gave, for somebody else in the comment section gave. The on-the-fly deciphering and relaying would have to be so next level, fam. that that would be the only way to make it worthwhile.
So you know what other thing that I always kind of wondered, who knew to look for Connor Stallions in the stands at their games? How did he come up on the radar? I always thought he was a plant. I always thought somebody planted him and made it so obvious that he had to get discovered. Because who's looking for him in the stands? He just got hired.
They found him on the sidelines of the Central Michigan game, and it was quick as hell.
But who let him over there? Who let him over there, though?
That's a fact. How did he get on the sideline?
By the way, you know what it is? I have the story of that, by the way, Phil. So some Ohio State fans did their digging, like they're private investigators evidently now.
Yeah,
and they found out
they're tied to a private investigator.
Yeah, their family. Their family has a firm.
The Central Michigan, what is it, the AD or the chancellor, one of the two, is a Michigan alum.
Yeah.
And he invited Connor Stallions to that game. That's what ended up happening. So that's evidently how that went. By the way, the Central Michigan dude is a big defender of Connor Stallions. So yeah, that's how that happened. He was like, hey, you want to come to the game and stand on the sidelines for the Michigan State game? And Connor was like, yeah, I'll do that. So
check this out. Nobody questions Penn State's second half stats. They outscored teams 90-7 last season in the second half until Michigan scored on them. They were as dominant as Michigan in the
that's very skewed.
Who's that?
The second half, you're talking about the UMass game where 66 of those points came from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, Penn State was. I'll say this. I think Penn State was overrated as hell last year.
Don't do that. Nah, Penn State was an elite team.
Don't quit it. Phil, I'm not going to let you push that narrative.
UNLV was elite. Penn State
okay, UNL. I'll give you UNLV, but Penn State with Drew Aller.
The more you understand football, the more you realize how much of a nothing story the whole sign stealing thing is. And this is Joel Klatt and Colin Cowherd.
Oh, we're really Colin Cowherd? I mean, that takes that man has.
I'll give you the Colin Cowherd.
So not even signs to them. The advanced scout. I'm going to buy tickets in my name and sit my next door neighbors in the stands to take pictures. Huh?
Right.
That's going to really help me beat.
Right.
These. Come on now. But
I will say though, whether you agree or not that it gave you guys a leg up, it was still technically breaking a rule.
Sure.
Like that when some Michigan fans do that, well, everybody does it. It doesn't give us. And I say, well, okay, that's like saying I go to school and I break a school rule, and then I say, well, it ain't that bad. It's not like I hurt somebody, and I act like I shouldn't get a punishment for it.
Okay, if you had a choice right now, knowing as minimal of effect that could have possibly had, what do you think a punishment would be for that? One person acting on his own.
I think a valid punishment for Michigan, just because of how long it went on for, would be the minimum is you should get loss of scholarships. You should get some of your scholarships taken away.
Yeah, that's cool.
Ooh, I still think that's kind of deep, just based on
scholarships.
Huh?
Take 2 scholarships.
Take 2.
Okay. Yeah, if you say 2 scholarships, okay. But I think some kind of lightweight, little probation. Hey, don't do anything wrong for the next couple years. Right. But you can't. What he did is breaking a rule. But if you look at all the rules that are broken, that are way worse than that they're pissed off because Jim Harbaugh wanted to revenue share. They pissed off because he wanted to disband the NCAA. They pushing. If this had been Nick Saban or Alabama, any of that, they would have tried to bury this so far deep that the 2035 scholarships will be affected.
But
No doubt, man. Well,
NCAA
look,
don't care
G,
about the SEC.
I appreciate you coming up. Who don't?
I said the NCAA doesn't care what the SEC does. Like they really just don't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's my point exactly.
No doubt, man. G, I appreciate you coming up. I gotta talk to this Ryan kid about this one other thing before we move on to the next topic. But stay locked in with us.
All right. Thank you, guys.
No doubt.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, Ryan. I need to ask you something. What happened with Meadows? Derek Meadows. What happened?
He chose LSU over Notre Dame.
Before you go, don't you owe Moose?
Huh?
Didn't you and Moose make a bet on this?
No, we made a bet on Jadon Blair, and okay. I am owed $100. But
sorry, Moose. Anyway, all right. So Meadows and Avon Taylor, we flipped Avon Taylor. He was like one of the highest rated players in your class. Now he's in Michigan's class. And then Derek Meadows, who everybody thought was a Notre Dame lock for months, decides he's going to take his talents to Brian Kelly, of all people, in the LSU Tigers. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it is what it is.
You all right with that?
No, we got issues over here for receiver recruiting. Mike Brown just went 0 for 3 on our top 3 receiver targets. By the way, Phil, we lost receivers targets to USC.
Shout out to Les.
We got put in the locker by Washington for a receiver, by the way. And we got put in a locker by good old Bayou Swamp Thing Brian.
Yeah. Brian Kelly, who you guys were giving a hard time, and he tried to tell you Notre Dame fans it's hard to recruit at Notre Dame. And then it goes down to LSU, and look, voila, he's got the number one quarterback in the class.
He said he had to shop down. We had to shop down a different aisle at Notre Dame. Well, us and LSU were shopping down the same aisle, I guess.
I mean, he's winning. By the way, him and his family are eating well, and y'all just up there, struggling to put 11 people on the field on defense.
Hey, we still got a top 10 class
for now.
Oh, well, when we get Nathaniel Wusu Boateng and Matt Ferrano, we're gonna still be a top 10 class.
You're not getting Nathaniel Wusu Boateng. Which brings me to my next segment. The barbecue at the Big House is coming up. It's a huge visitors list. I'm not gonna sit here bore you guys with everybody on that visitors list, but I will talk about a couple key targets, especially in the 2025 class. Wide receiver, top 100 wide receiver, Andrew Marsh, friend of the channel. I'm not sure if you checked that interview out, Ryan. I interviewed young Andrew Marsh. Actually texted him earlier today. Very good kid. He will be attending the barbecue at the Big House. He is, I believe, a heavy Michigan lean. There are crystal balls in for him to go to Michigan.
Who, Andrew Marsh?
Andrew Marsh.
I thought he already committed to you guys.
It's a soft commit. Don't say that out loud. But he wants to make his official commitment in August to honor his father, either on his father's birthday, I believe. So I think that's the plan right now. What say you? I mean, you guys are struggling to get receivers. We've got plenty of receivers in our class, and then we'll have more once Marsh commits. Top 100 receiver, by the way.
You're already looking to flip Cooper Perry, who's a 4-star receiver commit for Oregon.
That's gonna happen.
No, dude, it's gonna happen. He literally goes to the Notre Dame preparatory school. Like, it's in the name of his high school. It's a perfect fit. There's a Jerome Miles as a kid. Well, I don't understand why Notre Dame won't offer him. I don't know why.
Speaking of Jerome Miles, he will also be at the barbecue at the Big House.
Yeah, that's one kid I've been screaming ever since he decommitted from Ole Miss. I'm like, I don't know why our staff won't offer him. I don't know what it is. Anytime you ask, like in the Notre Dame media, like why hasn't Jerome Miles been offered?
Mm-hmm.
People tend to throw a fit about it. So I don't know if it's the staff doesn't think he's good, or the staff doesn't think he's got the academics. The staff just doesn't like Jerome Miles, but evidently Michigan and Utah are in it for this kid, and Notre Dame doesn't want to get involved. So that's where we're at right now, dude.
It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. Let me say that. You and the rest of America were laughing at us 2.5 months ago. I believe our recruiting ranking was down at like 44. It was very funny. It was very funny then. But now we have made our way up that list substantially, and it's not over yet. There are big name recruits still on the board, and Michigan is hot in pursuit. So where does Michigan stand with Marsh? I guess the cat is out of the bag. There was talk of a soft commit. And like he said, right here on this channel, he plans to make his official commitment in August on his father's birthday to honor his late father, who was a veteran and passed away when he was only 7. So rest in peace to Mr. Marsh, and hopefully Andrew makes the decision to go blue. Another person who will not be at the barbecue at the Big House, but is a big time recruit, and Michigan is hot on the heels for, and Ryan just mentioned him, Nathaniel Owusu-Boateng. And where does Michigan stand with that recruitment right now? And what I can say about that is that he is looking to take his commitment into the fall. Maybe there was some talk even of a National Signing Day commitment. Ryan, what have you heard?
Well, he's already got a visit set up to go to Florida for a game in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
So I know he released a top 5 of what was it? Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan, Florida, and what was it? Florida State? Or no, USC.
Yeah.
So I think what he'll do is he'll schedule a game visit for each of those schools. I don't know if he'll schedule one for Ohio State, just because I don't think Ohio State's really in on him, to be honest, because what I was told by Ohio State fans was that the price was too high for a new Owusu-Boateng. Whatever that means.
Ohio State.
Yep. So I think ultimately it comes down to Notre Dame, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Texas is a team that's been quietly trying to push for Owusu.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a team you could look out for, but ultimately I think he stays in the Midwest and goes to Notre Dame or Michigan. And I think what could help is how each team performs this year whenever he takes his visit.
That is fair. Michigan certainly will have opportunities to have them on campus for some big games. There's the Texas game, there's Oregon, there's USC, all of which are home games. So they'll have an opportunity for sure. I believe Michigan State is in Ann Arbor this year. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about that.
I think
that's just lamb for the slaughter, but
Yeah, I think if we're gonna have him in for a game, it's gonna be Florida State. Him being playing football in Florida right now just makes too much sense. And I mean, if you look at our schedule, that's our toughest game, so why not?
I know NOB wasn't happy about Taylor flipping to Michigan.
Huh?
He's saying, I guess I'm guessing maybe that was for you.
No.
Oh, my guy is here. Hold on, Ryan. the Maniac. What's good, sir?
You already know, baby. You see what
you
it
got
is,
the hat.
man.
Let's do
Come
it.
on, man. Stop playing with me. This is
Let's do
Michigan
it.
right here. This is it, man. Right straight from the BX, baby, all the way from the Bronx, Michigan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, been doing this. And your man here, your man had a lot to say last year about Michigan. Yeah, this Notre Dame fan.
Right.
But this dude, he like to run his mouth, but his team is trash. What Notre Dame do last year? Calling us cheaters. Oh, you cheated. You guys are cheaters. You guys are cheaters. Come on, man. Anybody that know football know what it was? Michigan won on the field.
Said cook 'em, son.
That's right. That's what we do here, man.
That's what's up, man.
Man, we'll catch y'all in 2030.
Yeah, all right.
Is that when the
We'll
game
see.
is scheduled?
And then, hold on. And then they were going at our recruiting class.
They
right?
were.
Oh, y'all 50. Oh my God, Akron has a better recruit. With a recruiting, and we not done yet. We still cooking. We still in the kitchen. Michigan's still in the kitchen. We ain't done yet.
Are we? I think we're still higher than y'all, though.
It's okay. It's all right. Remember, hold on. Yeah, but it's, you know why it's fine? This is what they forget. This is Sharon's Moore first year. He has pretty much a whole new staff, right? So that's hard to recruit like that, guys. Anybody that know the sport of college football, that's tough to do. So for him to be right now a top 16, top 15 class and possibly finishing top 10 or with inside the top 10, bro, that's going to be an amazing accomplishment, man. People got to understand that. We got to stop hating, man. We got to stop hating. Oh, look here.
Ryan.
No, bro. Dude, you're okay. You're not even okay. If you get them two guys and we get Meadows and Ferramo, we're just gonna be at the same spot.
But we already know you're not getting Meadows. What are we talking about?
Not Meadows, NOB. I meant we're getting NOB. I'll tell you that right now.
So who Meadows? I thought Notre Dame did crystal ball for Meadows.
We did.
They did.
The Meadows stuff was his. So there was some stuff that his family was pushed him towards LSU and wanted him to. They wanted him to play. I'm not, but I'm saying there are rumors going around that some people in the family wanted him to prefer him to play it in the SEC. So that's why Georgia, Alabama, and LSU kind of came out of nowhere for him.
Yeah, I see. I also see they talking about Chris Henry Jr. flipping to Oregon. That Oregon bag is heavy. Santa Claus bag heavy.
Hey, listen, Phil Knight is sparing no expense out there in Oregon. He's an older man too now, 86, I believe. He's trying to see a national championship before he, too late.
Yeah.
Phil, like Russell Wilson used to say, it's unlimited over there.
Yo, shout out to Brando said the BX Wolverine need a channel ASAP. By the way, my guy has a channel. This is the Boxing Maniac, by the way. Tell them where they can find you, my good guy.
Oh, yo, right. It should be there. The underscore boxing underscore maniac. The reason I do boxing because it's a 12-month sport opposed to college football. You know, like my man Notre Dame here, I get on them, but at the end of the day, it's all love, player. We just fans of the sport. It's never nothing personal. But if I gotta cook you, I gotta cook you. No hard feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Either way, man, we need this rivalry back so we can do this shit.
No, we definitely do. But I'm gonna say this, man, right? Because one thing about I'm doing like Michigan fans. They so concerned about NIL this, NIL that, bro. Listen, the more players you buy, you're gonna have a team full of prima donnas, bro. Trust me. Why Michigan is a culture. You can't buy that. You can't buy a culture. You can't buy that. The players have to buy into that themselves. They have to do that. And that's one thing Michigan got going for them. Now buy it. I'm not saying recruiting doesn't matter, because recruiting does. But what I'm saying is for my fellow Michigan fans,
If you see Ohio State getting all these 5 stars, relax, bro. Chill. It's not that serious. Because what happens? They've been having all those 5 stars. You know, he said Jim Jones.
Hey, by the way, that's Garrison. He a Buckeye fan.
It's all right. Listen, I look. I'm gonna say this, man. I'm sorry. I know I'm talking a lot, but you know, this is my first time. This is my first time on the dance floor here. I never been on your dance floor, so you know,
We've been trying to get this worked out. By the way, we gotta make you a regular. Maybe
yeah. Or wait till the season start. Or I can't wait to come here after the Texas game, because I'm gonna tell you this. This is what you're gonna hear, right? Texas is gonna beat Michigan. When Michigan wins, bro, come on. Texas is mid this year. Here we go. Now, no one gives Michigan credit for anything. No, I hate that. I understand. Yes, every fan base has their annoying fans, including Michigan. I agree. No one has a perfect fan base. I understand that completely. But if we're talking about being a fan of the sport first, right? Let's just take all our team hats off, right? And just be a fan of the sport. Anyone could see, man, what Michigan has done in the last 3 years has been great, bro. Has been great. And what they doing is, at the same time, is dominating the trenches, man. They dominate in them trenches. And that's where, when I see Michigan recruit on that D line and that O line, I'm like, yes. I'm not so concerned about that 3 5-star wide receivers. Nah, man. The trenches. Why you think Alabama was so good for years? Those other SEC teams. What the thing they had in common, guys? Great offensive line, and their defensive line was athletic like a mother. So the Big Ten schools, all these other schools, bro, they just couldn't compete at that line of scrimmage. And with Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, and my son Josiah Stewart and Derek Moore coming off that. Oh, listen. I'm just saying. I'll be here every week.
Absolutely.
Hey, Phil, are you doing a post game for every Michigan game?
You know it.
Okay, because I need to have the same energy after that Texas game, because I'm one of the people that thinks that Texas wins.
Oh, you're wilding. Yeah.
And that good. No, hold on.
He is a Buckeye fan, but we definitely got love for Garrison, even though he is a fan of that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. But yeah, go ahead.
And that's not me just being a Notre Dame fan. Like, I genuinely look at both teams, and I think defensively, Michigan's going to keep that game close, but the offense is, I can't see Michigan's offense keeping up with Texas's. Like, it was different when you had Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. You could switch them out. You had J.J. McCarthy, who was a proven commodity. We don't know what Alex Orji is. We don't know what that quarterback room is. Donovan Edwards is all fine and good, but it's just, I don't know if they're going to be, because eventually Texas's offense is just going to be good enough to score. You're not going to hold them down for an entire game. So, or is your guys' offense going to be able to keep up and get, those critical 3rd and longs that you're going to need to convert against Texas to beat them?
I mean, those are legitimate questions, and and that's and those are, like I said, I like that. But again, as a Michigan fan, without a doubt, our quarterback situation is a question mark. We know Orji is athletic like a mother. He's built like an 18-wheeler going 200 miles per hour. But the question becomes, can he make that throw on 3rd and 6? Can he make that throw on 3rd and 8? Right. And that's a legitimate question, right? Because I'm a Michigan fan. I love my team, but I'm a realist. I'm not going to just say, yeah, we're going to beat everybody and go undefeated. No. That's a question mark. But the good thing about Michigan is this: we're not quarterback dependent, right? We're not the Ohio State where 350 yards. No, we're going to grind you. We're going to grind you. We're going to grind you. And we're going to bring those safeties up. We're going to make them commit. Orji's going to land something. And also remember, even if he's not the one. We got. I know he's been in college since Jesus was walking around. Jack Tuttle, right? and we
man,
have
don't say Jack Tuttle.
my man Davis Warren.
Davis
right?
Warren looked good in the spring. Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, when I first saw him, not in this spring, the other spring before that, I say, yo, this kid is good, bro. He's sneaky good, and he's sneaky athletic too. So I think if Orgy, I think Sharon is gonna have a leash. Like, listen, if Orgy is halftime and it's like 13-3 Texas, I think he's making that quarterback move. And it's like, yo, we can't, we're not gonna 2017 this season and let the quarterback be the reason we didn't get to the promised land. Because that's what killed Michigan that year. And hopefully our quarterback could just be a slightly above average. And if he is, then there's no reason. All we need to do is score 17 against Texas, and I think we win that game.
17? You think 17's enough?
Yes. You know why? I'm going to tell you this. Because first, Michigan is they play a drag-out game. So we're going to limit the possessions Texas have. I mean, Texas is talented, bro, on both sides of the ball. Let's make no bones about it. And this is a game without a doubt Michigan could lose. I'm not sitting here and say there's no way. But also the advantage Michigan got going. It's early in the season. So if we want to play Texas, this is the time to play them week 2, right? Still, they still getting their kinks out the way.
And I would feel better about it. And I would feel better about it if I was a Michigan. And if I was a Michigan fan, I'd feel better about it being at home instead of at Texas.
Yeah, but it's at home, so we're fine. And look, it's a big noon game, which I think they kind of cheated the fans that deserve night game written all over it, man. Well, the big house is going to be jumping.
Why do they not like giving y'all night games? I never understood that.
Well, the noon game for Fox is obviously their biggest game. And they are trying, they have first dibs on Big Ten games, and they want the biggest ones. Pause.
Why? Why at noon?
It's all right. It's all
right. No Diddy, all that. But yeah. Look, Maniac, we definitely gonna talk about this Texas thing. I guess starting next week, we're gonna start doing some season previews. I need you back for that. Shout out to Jack, was good. Ryan, of course, we're gonna do what we do. When the time is right. I gotta get out of here, unfortunately, guys. Maniac, tell them where they can find you, sir, and everything.
Yeah, again, man, D_boxing_maniac, man. Come follow me, my fellow Michigan fans. Ryan, you too. Don't be a stranger, man, because I'm gonna cook you all season. Because you're gonna catch strays all season, even when y'all win. You're gonna catch a stray. I don't care. That's how we doing it, man. But it's all love, man. And Ryan, thanks again for having me on, man. Maize, man. You my man. We were supposed to link up at that Maryland game, but we'll figure it out. It's all right, bro. Don't worry. You're still my man, bro. And thanks for letting me on, man. Yo, have a good one.
Yes, sir. Ryan, tell the people where they can find you, what you got going on.
So you could find me on the Week Zero Productions YouTube channel. Me and Phil, we're gonna try to get this Maize Blue and Gold show back up and running for when the season starts. We gotta start doing that. Yeah. Phil's gonna be doing his minute with the Madman here again, starting up soon. We're getting the Week Zero podcast started up soon. We already dropped our. We're gonna be doing the was the Big Ten, or no? We're doing the SEC. The SEC is next, right? Because they're the second weakest conference, or the second strongest conference behind the Big Ten.
This is the Big Ten.
So yeah, tune in for that on Saturday. Phil will be there. We'll be making sure that Georgia. I'm sure we'll all say Georgia wins the SEC again. Which I know that's a shocker. But yeah,
no doubt. And of course, follow me everywhere at Maize Madman. Shout out to everybody that came through. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Till next time, stay angry, my friend.